Very good afternoon. Welcome to another session. And this is your final session on the third year semester 6 English, which is a discipline specific elective course, that is academic writing. So today is our final session. And And if you have any doubts and queries, you can write it in the comment section where I am going to reply and clarify on the doubts or any sort of queries you have. Right. So let me share I think PPT is already shared. So this was what we were doing in the previous sessions. That was all about the proofreading, right? So now we've already learned about what proofreading is all about. So it involves checking for spelling errors, grammar mistakes, punctuation errors, formatting issues, and also the purpose of proofreading. We all know it, like it's like to eliminate errors in writing, right? To improve clarity and readability, to maintain academic credibility, and to ensure consistency in style and format. Now, there are different methods which we learned yesterday. I hope you all remember. That was the traditional method because most of them usually stick to this traditional method. Of course, there are quite a number of alternative methods also. Then there is a digital proofreading and manual proofreading. So each method helps detect different types of errors. Now, as I have already discussed, traditional method, which is mostly used, which uses printed copy. And then the proofreader is going to compare it with the original text versus the printed version. Now, in that, they kind of use certain symbols to clarify or to figure out that or to express if there's a mistake there or some kind of a punctuation required. So it's like a symbol which is used there. And then again, we've also discussed about the alternative method in copy holding and copy reading, where two people are involved. One reads aloud and the other one checks it. Next, the coding also, where, the use of symbols to indicate corrections, like we have certain codes, either they, express it with the help of the gestures or a kind of set of letters. These are codes. Right. Then coming scanning, where this is mainly done to identify spelling mistakes, formatting issues, and it focuses on visual errors. Then double reading, reading it twice, general and an error checking. Then the proofread backwards is something where the text from end to beginning, which helps focus on individual words because a reader will not be able to anticipate what is going to come after the sentence or a word which is read out, isn't it? It's backwards. So it's very difficult. So they focus only on the individual words. So these are some of the elements of proofreading. That is the content, format, style, spelling, word choice, grammar, punctuation, capitalization, repetition, citation, and index. Right. Then, so proofreading is essential for academic success. And it improves quality, clarity, professionalism, and make sure you proofread before submission. That is very, very important. Right. Right. There are a few elements also of the proofreading. And I think we've done it in the earlier classes. But then let me just discuss some techniques and strategies where we tend to make certain errors while doing this proofreading. So, generally, errors in language distract the readers from getting proper message conveyed by a writer and create gap in making the meaning. So, apart from these, incorrect language may also communicate a lack of professionalism as a writer. So, therefore, an attentive, rapid, and an unmethodical proofreading may not help in receiving readers' appreciation and fulfill the purpose of writing at all. Now, the list here, we just discuss a quick list of errors over here, where usually they are given attention to most of the time while proofreading. Okay, like spelling mistakes, word choice, adjectives, verbs, phrasal verbs, capitalization, nouns, pronouns, noun phrases, prepositions, prepositional phrases, punctuating numbers, factual details such as numbers, times, and dates. Now, here are a few suggestions on effective proofreading. What are they? Now, it is like, the proofreading as a process of looking for any type of inconsistencies and grammatical errors as well as other elements. So, in order to be a good proofreader, we should follow certain techniques and strategies. And in order to make this process more effective and efficient, the entire proofreading is divided into 3 stages. Now, each stage will include some effective tips that can be followed. So, stage 1, it is pre-proofreading stage. Then, another second stage is during proofreading stage. This is the second stage. The third stage is post-proofreading stage. So, what is this pre-proofreading stage? In this stage, a writer should take a properly edited text, right? And be sure about the larger aspects of a text and that are already revised after editing. Eliminate irrelevant words before following any specific methods of proofreading. Check the checklist and points carefully. Now, during the proofreading stage, the writer should work on a print version of the draft, correct mistakes identified by computer functions, read slow and read every word, take each word, sentence, and line separately. You may use ruler or a scale to avoid skipping possible mistakes. Align with standards and acceptable style and circle or mark each type of error. So make sure you read the text from the reader's perspective. Now, that is the pre-proofreading stage. Now, coming to the during the proofreading stage. The next comes post-proofreading stage. In this stage, a writer should take an external support for another round of proofreading. Find out what the weak areas are in the work you have written and the improvement in future. Now, develop and practice a systematic strategy. Refer to a good grammar book. This is very, very important. Dictionary and style manual to get yourself updated. And I'm sure these techniques and strategies will definitely improve your proofreading skills. Right. So, in this unit, the entire unit, we have learned the difference between the terms interchangeably used for editing and proofreading with their purposes. We have also learned different methods of proofreading and some of the most important aspects of proofreading, and also different modes along with the techniques and styles. And we've just now concluded it with some significant tips to make the proofreading work more accurate. So this is what we've finished with the 14th unit. Next comes documenting sources. So what is documentation? So that is unit 15, documenting sources. 1 second, I will share the slide here. So here we have documenting sources. So what are we going to talk about in this particular unit, documenting sources? So here we are going to learn about the meaning of it. What exactly does it mean, the documentation? Then what are the various elements of documenting sources? Okay, such as the author's name, editor's details, title, subtitle, name of the resource, date of publication, publication details, volume number, issue number, page number, website details, access date. Now, under citation, we are going to learn about the meaning of citing sources, importance of citation, styles of citing sources. Next, we also have some techniques and strategies. And before that, we also have to learn a bit about the plagiarism, which is a common thing in these days. So that has become our, apart from plagiarism, there is something like AI text copying thing, which is quite rampant in most of the academic writings. That is also has to be checked. Next, and there are a few common techniques and strategies for documenting and citation errors, and suggestion on documenting and citation. These are certain things we're going to learn in this unit. So what is documentation? So in academics, documentation is one of the most significant parts of the process. It basically means gathering reliable information from various sources and organizing them to fulfill an academic purpose. So in other words, documentation is a process of organized acknowledgement of concepts, definitions, quotations, data, and other relevant information collected from various sources while producing an academic work. So there are a few elements to be documented as a citation or reference to the original source. Ideas and information adopted directly, concepts and theories given by others, direct quotations, facts and data, audio and video material, paraphrases and summaries. So any information and ideas that are not commonly available in a standard reference work has to be documented, and any borrowed, printed, digital and published materials, these are also to be to be documented as a citation or reference to the original source. Okay. Now let us also discuss about what exactly we mean by sources. Say, for example, we are given or assigned a task by the teacher to write an essay on a particular topic. But then what happens? You may not have enough information about the topic. So in order to complete this task, what do? You may start searching information through various sources. Now, these sources, when I say various sources, could be something like books, magazines, articles, newspapers, reports, other reports, library material, audios, videos, internet or web materials, and so on. So, then you have to make sure that they are reliable and authentic sources and that they were used to gather information to fulfill any task are considered as sources. So all the stuff which you come across and you refer to it may not be authentic. Such sources are not known as sources. The ones which are authentic, reliable are only called as considered as sources. Now let us discuss about the types of sources. So, say for example, when we read a research article or a journal or an essay, you would have noticed that there could be the matter which is not from the own idea of the writer. He would have collected it from or through multiple resources. So, to attain our objective, what do? We use different types of sources, right? And okay, when I talk about the sources, there are two important types of sources that are used for documentation purpose. One is the primary source. Second one is the secondary source. What is a primary source? They include first-hand information that comes from the creator's or the author's own account on a particular topic. It can be, you can even call it as a raw material. Now, these sources are used when we require the most reliable, authentic, and original source information. Say, for example, if a research scholar in his research article needs to quote the author directly in order to provide evidence or to put an argument, then he or she may refer to the primary sources. Some of the most reliable and popular primary sources are books, manuscripts, scholarly research articles, raw data, original official documents, speeches, and government publications. Now, what are these secondary sources? Resources. Secondary sources include information created by someone who did not experience or participate directly in any event or any particular work. Now, these sources are generally created by presentation, description, discussion, analysis, interpretation, evaluation, summary of based on the information. And that information is originally presented in primary sources. Okay, from there it has been extracted. So the purpose of the secondary sources is to include important definitions in terms related to a particular discipline, historical aspects related to a topic, significant theories and principles, summaries of important events relating to the topic, and so on. So therefore, secondary sources provide second-hand information. Some of the most reliable and popular secondary sources are again books, scholarly research articles, analyzed and interpreted data, documentaries, dissertation, reviews, and encyclopedia. So basically, from this, what do we conclude? That primary sources are the original first-hand accounts or evidence created at the time under study. They have not been interpreted or altered by others. Okay. Now, for example, I'll give you a diary entry written during World War II. This is a primary source. Okay. Or it could be historical documents like the Indian Constitution. Okay. Or it could be photographs, interviews, or speeches. They are, they are actually like raw materials of history or research. Now, coming to the secondary sources, They are interpretations, analysis, or summaries of primary sources. That is already been done by the primary. The raw source has been interpreted, analyzed, and summarized. That becomes the secondary source. They are created after the fact, often by someone not directly involved. So, for example, a history textbook explaining World War II. That's a secondary resource, right? Or a biography of Mahatma Gandhi. Okay. So, we can take the secondary sources as commentary or discussion about the raw material. Right. Now, coming to elements of documenting sources. What are these? Whether you are producing an academic essay or a term paper or writing a research paper, it is very much important to acknowledge the source. We have already discussed this in the previous section, where we use key elements to acknowledge the source. We have compiled a list of key elements to help to find the sources, searching and acknowledge them as references. Okay, the number one is author's name. See, because he is the person or maybe the organization which is responsible for the work. Okay, and an author is a creator of a source whose work is documented. So here author's name should be mentioned while citing the source. Author's last name is mentioned first, followed by a comma, then the initial of the first name. Next we have editor's detail. So what do we do in this? Sometimes a source is created by the authors based on the criteria given by an editor. So the responsibility of an editor is to plan, coordinate, edit, and revise materials for the purpose of publication. So books, newspapers, magazines, or websites are some of the sources edited by editors. So therefore, editor's name may also be used to cite a source. That is very, very important. Next, coming to the title. Here, the source is cited by including the title. The title of a source may be an article or a book or any other source. Like it could be the specific title of the book, article, web page, or other materials. Okay. So here it has to be written according to that style. It could be of an APA style or an MLA style. The art of storytelling, for example, if I have to write it, accordingly, the title of the source has to be documented. Next comes the subtitle. In some cases, the title of a source is supported by a subtitle. So subtitle is considered as an expansion of the main title. It is also called a subordinate title of a published source that provides additional information about the content. So usually we get to see the larger work in which this particular source is embedded, like the journal, anthology, website, right? Into that, these subtitles also sometimes are quite very important. Next, we have the name of the resources. Some of the sources, such as article, research paper, or a chapter, are not published independently. They are included in other resources like journal, book, edited book. And names of these resources are also included to cite the source. The date of publication is again another uh, point to be documented. That is, when the source, when was it published or last updated? So the date of publication refers to a date when a source is published by a publication house and made available to people. Now, the date of publication helps us to know how current the source is or how contemporary is the topic included as a source. Then comes the publication details. Publication refers to an act or a process through which a source comes into existence for the access of common people. So this includes all the specific details that are involved in the process of publication. Then comes the volume number. So a volume number of a source typically refers to the number of years the publication has been circulated. Now, if we refer to a periodical such as journal article while citing a source, volume number is considered as a standard element. Issue number. So what is this issue number? An issue number generally refers to the number of times that periodical has been published during that year. Say most of the time, it is the number, the digit number of times it has been published is reflected immediately after the volume number of the journal. Say, for example, 42 preceded by a bracketed number digit called 2. It indicates that the issue number is 2 and the journal is 42. Next, page number. The page numbers provided in a journal or a book or any other resource refers to a range of the published material. They are often listed right after the volume and issue numbers. Next, website details. Some articles or books or any other materials are published virtually on websites. Like printed publication, virtual publication has specific details of publication such as name and date of publication of the day. It gets appeared for an open access. Next, coming to citation. So the meaning of citation. What is the citation? So a citation is a method of acknowledging either published or unpublished sources. So when we talk about these citations, so first and foremost, the meaning, the importance of citation, styles of citing resources, it is what we are going to learn now. So this is something which helps us to inform the readers about the sources and other come across while searching information related to a particular topic or an area of study and guide them for further inquiry. Now, its significance. In academic writing, citing resources is very important for various reasons. Some of the key issues are like provides information of all the sources and resources used by the author while producing an academic text or document. The citation of all the resources used by the author increases the authenticity and credibility of the work. The process of citation helps an author to have ethical consideration and avoid plagiarism. Now, what are the styles of citing resources? There are multiple ways of citing resources in academics. The citation style sometimes depends on the specific area of study or discipline in which the study is conducted. That is, it could be an APA style or an MLA style. APA is nothing but American Psychological Association, that is mostly used in the field of education, psychology, and sciences. Whereas MLA, Modern Language Association, is another style that is used in the field of humanities. Right. Now, let us quickly talk about this American Psychological Association. So, American Psychological Association style of citing resources is one of the most commonly used in the field of the social sciences. This style follows a format of APA research papers, in-text citations, endnotes, footnotes, and the reference page, including name of the author, date of publication, title of the article and journal, volume, issue, page number, web links, and so on. So the citation style keeps updating its publication manual. The latest edition of publication manual of the American Psychological Association is 7th ed. So that is available online and offline as well. In APA style, resources are organized in the manner such as the pages, font, citation, and then when you talk about the pages in the style of APA, it includes authors, name, title of source, title of container, other contributors, version, number, publisher, date, and location. And another important thing in APA, page number is given on the top right corner and should show all the pages starting from the title page. Now, when you talk about the font of APA style, it permits two basic fonts, sans serif and serif. It's sans serif, it accepts 11-point Calibri, 11-point Arial, or 10-point Lucida Sans Unicode. And in serif, it accepts 12-point Times New Roman, 11-point Georgia, or normal 10-point. So moreover, the space should be double in the titles and 1.5 in the running text. And margin should be 1 inch on every side. Now, citation styles for various resources, if you look at it, one is for the single author book. What is the citation style? So here it is like authors or an author, last name, first and middle initial, year of publication, title, subtitle, place of publication, and publisher's name. Next, when you talk about the format for essays, articles, or chapters published in an editing book, it is author's last name, first and middle initial, year of publication, title of the article, editor's name, title of the primary source, publication details. Next. Now, for example, if it's a journal article, so what is the format to be followed? So author's last name, initial, year of publication, article title, name of the journal, volume, page numbers. Now, for example, if the sources are newspaper and magazine, what is the format for citing this type of sources? That is article, author, last name, first initial, year of publication, month, date, article title, name of the newspaper, plus the URL. Now, coming to the MLA style. This is another commonly used style of citation in the field of the language arts. And cultural studies and other humanities disciplines also follow this kind of a style in writing on language and literature. According to this kind of citation, manual, The resources are arranged in the general format of MLA research papers, in-text citations, and the work cited page. This style features brief parenthetical citations in the text according to an alphabetical arranged list of works cited that appear at the end of the work. Now, this style also follows a format of MLA research papers in text citations, endnotes, footnotes, the reference page, including name of the author, date of publication, title of the article and journal, volume, issue page number, and web links, and so on. Now, the latest edition of publication manual of the MLA is 8th ed. The 8th edition. So, how are the sources organized in this MLA style? So, let us take up the pages. In this style, academic paper includes title page, abstract, annotated bibliography, containers, footnotes, in-text citations, paraphrasing, page numbers, sample paper, work cited. The page number in MLA should be right justified text for page number header and should be given from the next page of the title page. Now coming to the font, MLA style 8th edition permits 12-point Times New Roman. Moreover, the space should be double and margin should be 1 inch on every side, just like the APA style. Indent set of quotations should be 1 inch from the left margin, and indent should be given to every paragraph. Citation styles for various resources. Here we have the citation style for single author book. So it's like author's name, first name, middle, initial, title, publisher, year of publication. Now coming to the sources such as essay, article, and chapter published in an edited book. So in an MLF style, the sources we refer to. This is the style which is followed. Author's last name, first name, middle, initial, title of the chapter, article or essay, title of the edited book, edited by editor's first and last name, publisher, year of publication, page numbers for the chapter. Now coming to the journal articles. Author's last name, first name, middle initial, title of the article, journal title, volume number, issue number, date of publication, and page numbers. Newspaper and magazine articles. Author's last name, first name, middle initial, title of the article, title of the newspaper, day, month, year, section, and page numbers. Plagiarism. So let us now quickly take a look at this quite a problem which is quite rampant these days, that is plagiarism. There are a number of cases when a product of writing becomes unsuccessful and does not fulfill the actual purpose. And one of the most significant reasons is plagiarism. So this practice is taken very seriously from ethical and legal perspectives. It may lead to disciplinary action, whether if it is done intentionally or unintentionally. It may damage the credibility and reputation of a work. So let me just give you an idea of some basic forms of plagiarism. Stealing others' work or ideas without giving them credit. Copying others' work without permission. Failing to put borrowed language in quotation marks. Failing to put summaries or paraphrase without writing in your own words. Claiming your recycled work as new. See, plagiarism not only means that others copying the others' work, also copying your own work, and that too, which has been already published and mentioned, and you make it again and call it a new, right? It's a recycled one. Even that is also called as a plagiarism. Now, however, the issue of plagiarism may be avoided by following certain techniques, such as cite resources, include quotations, paraphrase, use plagiarism checker. Okay, let us quickly look into some techniques and strategies which we can, stay focused while documenting and citing resources. At the end, this is the concluding topic. So, the common documenting and citation errors. Documenting and citing resources are all about appropriate evidence in your written work. But many writers make errors in documenting and citing resources. And some of the most common errors made by the author or researchers are improper and inadequate citation, unintentional plagiarism, improper style of paraphrasing, copying a previous paraphrase, inappropriate citation style. Next, some of the suggestions. I would give you some suggestions on documenting and citation. Let us quickly look into it. See, to make this process very effective or most effective, we must acknowledge the ideas of others. That is the first point. Now, proper paraphrasing is very important. And cite original or authentic resources. Citation is very important. And cite sources following appropriate style. Style as in MLA or APA. And there are many more styles as such, but we discussed only these two styles today. Then develop bibliography or references as per the requirement. Avoid plagiarism. Understand individual property rights. Use effective tools for documenting resources. Right? So this is the last unit which we have completed today. The last module also as per our syllabus. So this was all about mechanics of writing, editing, proofreading, and documenting sources. Right. So these different types of sources, their purposes, and how to evaluate them for academic and research purposes were some of the key points which we discussed in this today's session. We've also learned some of the most important elements used for document citation purpose. And in this unit, we've also learned the techniques and styles used for citing resources and some of the most popular tools for citation. Right? So with this, we finish the 5th module, Mechanics of Writing. So let me just quickly take you back to all the modules. So block 1, we learned on writing short texts. Right? Like the paragraph, paraphrasing, and reviewing. In block 2, we've learned on writing an essay. So writing a descriptive essay, an argumentative essay, and an analytical essay. Not only about these essays, we've also learned the differences between these essays. So what is a descriptive, what is an argumentative, and how do they differ from each other? And the analytical essay. And this makes an academic writing text where we come across these kind of writings in many of our academic texts. Right. Next, we have shortening text for future use, like note making, note taking, and summarizing. So note making, when do we make notes? What is the context we make notes? And what are the sources we refer while making notes? So this is very, very important, where one need not copy down everything, but some key words which will help them to make notes. Note taking again, when a speech is given, you need to jot down some points. So this is where you come across the note taking. And not only speeches, probably some lectures where you have to take down some important points. That is where note taking happens. Now coming to the summarizing is nothing but taking the gist of what has been read, what has been written, right? The gist of it, summary of it. You should have an idea how to summarize a given text. Next, assignments for assessment. The various different, what an assignment is, different types of assignments, right? And then we have reports, types of reports, the definition of a report, and certain key strategies of writing a report, and some of the errors we make while writing a report. Then the proposals. And not just the proposals, difference between a report and a proposal also we've learned. So proposal, how do you, a proposal is something which you intend to do and you put it across. There are different types of proposals. The way we, convey the idea in the form of a proposal. All these things we've learned in block 4. Then coming to the block 5, mechanics of writing, that is which we concluded just now. The editing, proofreading, documenting sources. So editing and proofreading, most of the time we tend to use it interchangeably, which is, there is a difference between editing and proofreading, and what it is, we've learned it in this session. And I'm sure you all understood. And if you still have any queries, you can please drop it in the comment section where I'm going to clarify it. So after watching the video, any sort of clarification in any concept of my session, you can please write down the questions there in the comments box where I will address all your queries and clarify with you. And that's it for the concluding session today. I hope you all understood it, and I want you to read the entire book, and any part of it or any module where you find it difficult, kindly put it in the chat box or the comment section where I am going to look into it and clarify and try to brief you about that particular query. Thank you very much.